From Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9, from the City Hall Council Chambers, it's time once again for the Taxpayers Hotline Show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host.
Hey, we're live. You're in a mood. Got dancing fever or what?
Isn't there music?
Yes, the Taxpayer Hotline.
Oh.
Live from the corner of South Park Row and State Street.
This is Taxpayers Hotline.
And it is live.
Yes,
Hey.
we are alive, both of us, somehow.
We'll give you a Gibbs, see if you're... You know what a Gibbs is?
No. Oh.
You don't watch that show.
I don't know what show that is.
Oh, that's okay. How you doing, though?
I'm good.
I was under the weather.
Well, we got a phone
We were
call.
going to go over the rules, but you know what?
Hello.
You're the first caller.
Hey, Cass, you got no sound.
We got no sound.
No sound.
Wait a minute. We'll get Mike on it. Can you hear me now or not?
Yeah.
You can hear me, but you can't hear it on the air?
Yeah, I'm talking to you on the phone, but the TV, no sound.
Maybe it's that second audio program problem thing again with a TV. You got to flip through the menu system and change the audio.
Did you hear what DJ said?
Yeah, no, because you had, before you guys came on, you were showing your replay for a minute, and
Yeah.
there was no sound on your replay.
Okay, you're okay now, though?
No, there's no sound. I got my TV turned up loud. There's no sound.
No, what you have to do you have a newer TV?
No, DJ, it's working fine. Like I said, you guys, there's no sound, please.
Well, yeah, the only time you wouldn't have sound is if the second audio program is not set right. That's all I know. Don't know.
Yeah, like I said, you guys replay, at the top of the hour, you're showing the replay.
Right.
There was no sound on your replay.
I'll have to talk to Mike. He's in the back. I'm sure he's listening.
Yes.
I had a question anyhow. So.
Yeah, go ahead.
They're battling with the hotels down here. Why? Okay, so let me get this straight.
Yeah.
The Civic Center.
Excuse me, sir. You're getting sound, Mike? Mike's getting sound over his system, so
Yeah.
we'll see what's going on. Go ahead, sir. Get back to hotels.
The hotel. So the Civic Center is fighting this. Is this correct?
Yes.
Now, why? This is what frustrates me. What do they care if the Sheraton and what's the other one, the Marriott?
Well, they would have to pay the taxes, not the Sheraton. Because I believe we have sound on there? Okay. I believe they own the buildings, physical buildings, not the hotels. Does that make sense to you? Hello?
Who makes the profits here?
Well, it's a convoluted problem. They built the buildings, and the county okayed the loans, and they basically probably built them to spec so that these hotel chains would come in. The hotel chains don't actually own the property. They own the business, and they make the profit, and they pay. I'm not sure what the payout figure is, in rent or lease or something, whatever they're paying to the convention center. That'd be an interesting question. I'd have to, ask one of them what the breakdown is. But to my knowledge, the convention center actually owns the brick and mortar building. So that what you're doing is you're not taxing the Sheraton, you're taxing the building. Much like you're the property owner of your house, but it's your house that's being taxed. Only you're getting the bill because you own it. So, in effect, the convention center owns that. That's the whole center of the argument is the fact that most buildings are either owned by a for-profit landlord or the hotels themselves. Like many of the drive-in chains, they don't actually own the buildings. Somebody builds it for them. But, they're for profit, so they pay taxes. You never hear about it. In this case, you have a non-profit owning the buildings, and that's why we have this problem.
I see.
So it wouldn't be the Sheraton or the, what's the other one?
It's a Marriott, right?
Yeah, Courtyard by Marriott. They wouldn't be them paying the taxes. It would actually be the convention center, and they would probably have to either pass that on to them in terms of the rent or absorb it.
So eventually, the Sheraton and the Marriott would have to pay the taxes.
Well, they would if the convention center passed it on to them, but a lot of times the convention center, because they want to remain competitive, this is what they've told council, like when council had the 3% amusement tax, they said they absorbed that. They didn't pass that on to their tenants or to the food service or anything like that, but,
Oh, Kaz.
Yeah, I can't tell you, but hey, we got to fight them because, as you ride around the city and you look at the proliferation of nonprofits, there's only one place when our taxes are fixed, a lot of our taxes, wages, salary, benefits, utilities, debt reduction. When you look at all those figures, somebody has to pay the bill. And it becomes pretty obvious that the more nonprofits you have, that bill goes on not onto people like you, myself, or for-profit businesses. Is it any wonder why a lot of them don't want to, locate in the city then?
Oh, man. This is just unbelievable. Pass the taxes on to these giant corporations, billion-dollar corporations. They can afford
Well, what's interesting is if you
$1,000.
followed the genesis of those hotels, they wanted Nick Scott to build them one time. And Nick was going to build them, but they would have been probably taxable. And when he couldn't build what they wanted, which was they wanted a hotel that was a little bit higher up the food chain than he was willing or could build, they took it upon themselves to build it. They'll tell you they couldn't bring a Sheraton in here, if they didn't give them some kind of break. But if you had Mr. Scott do it, he'd have to put in his own dime and pay taxes probably.
Wow.
So, they can prove me wrong. If they want to call me up, any member of county council, or, tell me the truth. But, that's the way I've been hearing it, that, like our hospitals, which are tax exempt, they have agreements to pay the city 50% of their tax bill. That's guaranteed every year. They pay us 50%. That's a negotiated, if you watch a newspaper, if you watch TV the other day, Harbor Creek negotiated with Knowledge Park to get like 50% of some of their taxes. A lot of municipalities have to do this, and if they're not going to pay taxes, we have to have pilot agreements in place. But between the colleges and everybody, like the other day I found out somebody said Gannon gives us about $100,000 a year, but if you think how much their taxes would be a year, that's really not a lot,
That's the thing that gets me. We're talking about billion-dollar corporations here.
Oh yeah, it just gets, it adds on and on. When you look at hospitals, schools, all that, who do you think picks up the tab? You do, and I do. How would you like a break on your taxes?
These are basically entertainment facilities. It's not a hospital, which is providing care.
Right.
For poor people, rich people.
I get it when you talk about the arena. Okay, the arena's never going to make money, and the arenas are there for the quote unquote pleasure of the the patrons in the area. But when you start including all the other stuff, when you start getting into parking lots and hotels and stuff, it's nice to have them there, but can we afford the luxury when people are feeling the pinch of taxes?
Well, see, this is how I read it, Kaz. Hospitals, they're providing a service. Colleges are providing a service.
They are, but do we need to include the parking lots and the residence halls that make a profit, you know.
Yes, let me talk for a second.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm just adding to you. Go ahead.
Colleges are providing a service. Hospitals are providing a service. Hotels are providing entertainment. The Civic Center is providing entertainment. They ought to pay taxes. And you know, the Center, maybe it's not as much because we built them. But the Sheraton, damn well, they can afford to pay $900,000 and help out our city. And the Marriott, too. And, but what, they're just going to let our city crumble? And, you know, just because we could be getting $2 million from them, which is a big, I mean, we could use it.
Mm-hmm.
We could use it.
Well, our solicitor...
They're just going to let the city, you're going to let the city just crumble around us?
Nope, our solicitor actually has taken, council asked him the last meeting about the progress, and there's nothing to report yet. You know, it's through the argumentative phase, and now it's up to the board to decide, you know, let's hope they rule in our favor. Because it's not only us, the school district's going to get money too.
I'll tell you what, that just really raised my blood pressure right there.
Well, it should, because, like I say, you know, what we call a nonprofit, and I sort of agree with you, sir. Look, I'm not against the colleges, but I am against their for-profit parts. You know, you can't have like all their parking lots where they charge people. You can't have the athletic fields and the dormitories that make a pretty good profit. You know, we're not talking about dormitories. We're talking about residence halls where, if you look at Mercier's, they bought all Baldwin apartments up there. Those used to pay taxes.
Pilot agreements are fine for like colleges and hospitals.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. Okay? But these hotels, they got to pay their full taxes, Kaz.
I agree with you, but the trouble is that the actual buildings, unless they tell me otherwise, from what we've been told, they're owned by the authority, the actual building.
And I don't see why the Civic Center Authority would even fight this.
Wow,
Pass on the bill. Just pass on the damn bill. They can afford it.
I think they're afraid the hotel would move.
Oh, Kaz, come on.
Well, maybe that changed. I mean, somebody else would come in, but
Hey,
I think they want to maintain that
move out.
that Sheraton brand name.
Did somebody tell you that, or that's just your thought?
No, that's what I've been over the years as I've watched this progress. And if you read the paper, listen to the news, go to some of the authority meetings, and watch the progression of how these hotels developed, they wanted from day one a Class A hotel. You know, in a bit of irony, do you know what the hotel would have been if Nick Scott was going to build it?
Oh, I don't know.
They wanted a Marriott, which is that top-of-the-line Marriott. Nick Scott was going to build him a Courtyard by Marriott. And that's exactly what they got next door to the Sheraton. But for the big hotel, they wanted a Marriott, a 5-star Marriott or 4-star. That's not the Erie market. You know, not based on, without help, you know. No, it's not my, you know, these are things that are, you know, asking questions and you know, watching people that have gathered the data, you know, look it up, see if I'm wrong, you know.
Yeah, I'll let somebody else call in, but man, this really.
Well, let's hope that
they better look at themselves and look at the city and say, hey, we need some money here, and you're ignoring almost $2 million that we could get. That's just baloney.
Yeah, I hope you know. Let's hope they rule in our favor, because this is huge. Not only for us, but for, you know, the school district as well.
Hey, before you go, you still there? Hello?
Hello?
I think we lost him.
Yeah. What were you going to say?
I was going to have him walk through. I can guarantee it's the second audio program.
Oh.
He's got to, and he's not going to hear us to do it, but if he calls again, it's his TV.
Go ahead, caller.
Yes, I'm calling Taxpayers Hotline. Did I get the correct number?
You got it.
You got it, but you're coming in a little low, ma'am.
Okay. Is that better?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm just curious as to, Short Street got hit up pretty hard with code enforcement. And most of us are in our 60s here, and we're just wondering if there's any programs available to help us out. It's not that we don't care about fixing up our homes, it's a matter of financial. And there's, it's just, they expect us to do this stuff in 90 days, which we've got an extension now because of the snow. But it struck all of us pretty hard, and we do try to keep up our street.
This was on Short Street?
Yes.
Would they hit most of the buildings? Was that BIU that did that, or?
Code enforcement.
Oh, what were some of the things do you want to mention, or?
Sure, I would glad to, and all of us, of course, are quite upset because this is, most of us are in our 60s and stuff, and, and to make ends meet.
I would think there's some, it depends on, are they rentals or are they...
I'm a homeowner.
Okay, I mean, most of the buildings hit were owned by individual people, right?
Correct.
Okay, because I was trying to think, what areas we can... If you want to give me a call off the air later on...
Oh, that would be wonderful.
I'll get the information, and then what I can do is I can talk to a couple of people here and see if the programs we have, apply to that.
That would be wonderful.
Because I'm thinking there's areas of economic development and redevelopment that might be able to help you,
Yeah, because it's things like repoint the brick, and I own a brick home.
Right.
And the chimney, and that's like thousands of dollars. Of course, scrape and paint the whole entire home. It's things that I try to do things to my home once a year. And I get my tax money back. Like I put up a new fence, I put on a new porch. Things like that, and that's about what I can afford. And so to do all this stuff is just impossible for me. I doubt I'd even get the loan for that kind of... I'm still paying for my roof. I put a new roof on.
I talked to a director from one of the suburbs, and he gave me a couple good ideas about... The trouble is that, we're so deep in the hole now that this would have been something nice to do way back when...
Exactly.
But we're going to have to start looking at how to help the homeowners so we can renovate neighborhoods. But give me a call. I'll give you my number, okay?
All right, let me grab a pen here real quick.
Something like the St. Mary's Center, don't they do, they help with home?
Well, there's some for like rentals and stuff like that.
Because my friend who owns a house, I think he went through the St. Mary Center.
He might have been renting it out, though.
No, he owns.
Oh, he did?
He's actually buying a house, and he's on a fixed income, and they fixed his chimney, and I think he didn't have to pay anything.
Oh, my God, that would be like a
Yeah,
godsend,
so there's programs like that.
I'll get the information off you. You ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, 434...
434...
3127.
3127.
Yeah, 434-3127.
Thank you so much.
Call me a little later on. I got a couple errands to run after the show, so you can call me later on tonight. I'd be okay.
Okay, that'd be wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And what's your first name so I know when you call me?
Beverly Wojciechowski.
Oh, you didn't have to say that, but that's okay. I'll wait for your call tonight then, okay?
All righty, thank you.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I know. I'll try to get some information on that. I'll call my friend and find out.
There's some programs like for when you're dealing with rentals, and they'll come in and renovate,
Yeah, but if these are all homeowners, and my friend is a homeowner, and like I said, he's on fixed income.
Those funds are like drying up quickly in some areas, so
yeah,
I have to kind of find out what's available.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of stuff out there, like different energy providers.
We're going to have to start doing that because...
some like Penelec and stuff, sometimes they offer...
Usually they're specific.
Energy grants.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, what's happening to all the surplus money
What surplus money?
in the city?
Surplus money?
Do we have
All
any?
that money that's not going anywhere, that $8 million or whatever it is now?
$8 million. Where'd you get that figure?
I was going through the computer and I saw we have $8 million unaccounted for.
Unaccounted for?
Yeah.
It's on the website?
I thought it was Siri's website.
Who said that we have $8 million unaccounted for?
Don't we have that kind of surplus?
Well, that's not unaccounted for. All money's accounted for.
No, it's not.
What do you mean it's not?
how could it all be accounted for if you have a surplus money that's not accounted for?
Money is never just laying around. Where it is,
Well,
it's in what they call a fund balance. A fund balance is, a way of looking at this is, let's say we anticipate we're going to collect $11 million this year,
yeah.
but we only collect 10. Okay?
So therefore, now you're $1 million in the black.
No, not really, because you never had it. A budget is not absolute. What it does is you anticipate how much you think you're going to pull in and how much you have to spend. In reality, okay, you may never collect as much as you want to, but whatever you collect, that goes into the various pockets. Now, most people, when they look at a budget, they just look at the general budget. That's the budget we pay our police and fire out of and everything like that. That's not the sewer budget, the golf budget, the risk management budget, or any of those other ones, the capital budget. Those are separate. Okay, so let's say you collected $10 million this year. And the same thing goes with expenses. You might think you were going to spend more, but you spent less. So at the end of the day, if what you have is $2 million left over, let's say, okay, you follow me?
I'm following you.
Okay, you anticipated 10, you spent 8. Okay, the $2 million, the $2 million stays in your fund balance, and then the following year you do another budget. But you in the meantime, that $2 million,
Surplus.
yeah, you could call it that. Okay, that $2 million now you can use to start the year out. If you remember in the old days, we used to always have to take a loan out at the beginning of the year.
And you took a trace off.
What they called a TRAN note, tax anticipation note,
Right.
tax and revenue anticipation note.
You took that money out and paid in anticipation of the taxes that were going
Well,
to
we actually had to borrow money to pay off our first 3 months of the year, let's say.
Right.
And then we had to pay back that loan at interest. So
True.
what's happened is, yes, we have built up a surplus. It's not a huge surplus, because what they tell you should have and what we have are two different areas. But now you use that money in the beginning of the year to basically carry you through until you start collecting your revenue. You don't collect revenue from day one necessarily. Your taxes are due at different times. So, the surplus carries you over. You want to have a surplus,
Yeah.
but $8 million is not going to, that's not going to make a huge difference.
No.
It's not unaccounted for though. It's everything is accounted for. It's somewhere. It's either in it's in a fund balance for a general fund. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The question used to be asked. Okay, let's say we have risk management. You know what risk management is?
Yeah.
Okay, let's say we have a bad year, and we have a lot of guys get hurt. People had some very bad illnesses. We had police and firemen injured, whatever, workers. Let's say you go past what you budgeted. What do?
You tap into your risk management.
Well, you make a transfer out of another department if you can, but that's why you have a surplus balance.
But that's why you have health insurance too.
And then the next year, you hope, when you do your budget, knowing that you have a fund balance, that reflects how you do your budget. You got a little buffer.
True.
But it's not unaccounted for. It's not like laying around there and nobody, it goes down during the year and then increases during the year. At any given time, that number can be, that's a moving target, just like when we went after garbage bills. That number is a moving target. People are paying off the old one, but other bills are going on to the old list now.
Mentioning garbage bill, how's the water and the sewer and the election money? How's that? Is that caught up yet?
It'll never be perfectly caught up, but during the budget sessions we talked about it, and I think the balance now of old money is right around $1 million or less.
It's getting better.
Yes, it's a moving target, though, because what happens, John, you take, people are paying off the older part of it, but then they're incurring new parts of it, okay? What we want to do is it's not increasing. In the old days, it kept going up and up and up. Now we're at least knocking it. I like to use this term. We use it in accounting. It's a bad term, but it's you ever hear the term, the collection rate is increasing at a decreasing rate. Okay, in other words, we're really closing the gap.
Now you're getting into some of the old money that needed to be collected.
If we add $1, we're taking away $1.50 on the other side, you know.
Right.
And yeah, it's getting better. Is it ever going to be perfect? Probably not, but...
No, it'll never get perfect. Maybe it will be now if they start enforcing it a little harder.
Well, we want to go after a lot of things. We're talking about parking fines. There's a backlog on there. There's a lot of things where this council here, I know a lot of people think it's a, if you read the newspaper, you think, we don't do anything, but this,
do you?
Yes, this council, John, is very,
I haven't heard anything about increasing taxes.
Name me one council, John, that went after garbage bills before we did.
I can't.
And when did that start? Way back when? Who was councilman?
Ray Bender?
No, it was, Ray Bender and Bagnoni.
Tony?
Mario's the one that started that mess, remember?
Bagnoni started the mess with the garbage.
So, I mean...
And the water.
We finally attacked it. How many administrations did we go through? How many years? We did that. The land bank.
You can't talk about administrations because you only had 3.
Yeah, but I mean, look how many years. But the land bank is another idea,
The land bank isn't a bed of roses.
Well, no, but you know what? It's a start. But
that land bank.
How about the fact that we want to actually start tagging people for violations? And remember that roof at 12th Street?
Yeah.
If we didn't have to go through the JP as long as we did, if we have the right to fine them right on the spot like we want to do, think how better that's going to be.
Well, the whole thing there, it sits with you 7 people up there, and the 5th floor, you don't put teeth into your ordinances.
No, but this council wants to start doing that, and you know what? Hey...
But as long as you got that guy upstairs, he'll veto it, and you won't have the 5 votes to override his veto.
Well, that's what you always got to hope for that, John. But, hey, as long as I'm here, I'm going to be a pain in the butt.
Well, you should be.
Who are you going to ask?
I want to ask you a question. The development, did I understand that Junior's building has been sold? Did I hear that on the news, or was I wrong?
The top 2 floors were, I believe.
The top 2 floors that were sold?
I think they're being rented by...
Litz,
yeah. I got to find out the exact deal whether he bought them or what,
I kind of understood that he bought them for $25,000.
Well, he's always had his eye on that 2nd floor.
But the renovation of the windows up there...
I know, John. Look, it happened before I was here. I'm not pleased with it.
I mean, when I heard that, I couldn't fathom it.
Well, yeah, it's a bad business deal for us.
I mean,
for redevelopment. But I got to ask you a question, John. What do you do now?
What do you do now?
That happened before,
I understand.
I can't help what happened before I was on council, but okay.
Yeah, but you were on council. Would they put the bill out for the windows?
No, that was before.
It had nothing to do with voting on it.
No, they did that before, but here's the problem. What do you do now that they spent the money? Okay, they already made that error, that blunder.
You don't do anything.
They could sit on it, and they're never going to get an offer, and...
They're not going to get an offer anyways.
But I think Junior has always made it clear, at least when I talked to him, he's always had plans for the 2nd floor.
True.
Years ago, he wanted to put a piano bar up there.
Yeah.
He used to have the dueling pianos. Remember those guys?
Yes.
He always wanted the main event downstairs, but he wanted something else upstairs,
Yes, he wanted...
And I think maybe long range, I'm not reading into anything. I heard one time there was a plan that the comedians that come here, maybe he could put they either talked about here or across the street, putting apartments for them, like, you know.
Right.
But, hey, you know what? Hey, look, I'm not happy, but you got to get some life in that building somehow.
That's true, but we don't want another California.
No. You know what? There was a lot of blunders made, not only there, but, hey, you can go back on a lot of stuff.
You know, those old buildings, they're tinder boxes. That's just like I was going to say with that land bank deal. If that doesn't work, the 50% has to go back to the state. Did you read that?
Well, we're going over we haven't seen the laws as written yet, but, hey, look, it's not perfect.
Nothing is perfect.
I attended Curtis and I went to when we were down to League of Cities, we took a couple classes in. And, yeah, nothing's perfect, but there are a bank of builders in Erie that want to get involved. And I've been talking to some of them. Some of them are big, some of them are small.
True.
But somewhere along the line, we got to get, you know, from every time I'm sitting there at council, we get a person comes up here, and we're not talking about the person that wants to buy the land.
Oh, you're looking at the speculator.
Right. The guy that wants to buy the land because it's next to his house and wants to green it because he's tired of watching it being dumped on. You know, like mine next door. You know what I'm talking about, John?
That's a good idea, but if you put the land onto his property and widen it so he's paying full boat of tax on just the lot.
But what we don't want anymore is the speculators that come in here, they buy it from out of town, they don't know what they're into, and then all of a sudden they keep flipping it. So at least now, if we got some property we think can be developed with people that got the money and the willingness to do it, it'll be a win-win for us, you know.
Yeah, that's just like down there at the GCAC property, or the GEIDC down at Hammermill.
You know, that's why, John, if we get an opening, I got to put somebody like you on these boards because I like people like you to think that way.
You know, that property down there where you got Black coming in,
Yeah.
using federal and state money to enhance his business. I'd rather see somebody come in using their own money.
Everybody likes that, but, you know, even in the case of Nick Scott, you know, even if he does his whole development, some of that will be government funded.
But yeah, some of it will. Keystone Zone, that deal with what's the trace-up he was trying to get in when the city screwed up, when they didn't make their own...
I just hope, like in the case of Black and these people, that when they do this, that they stick around. Like, you know, for years, people got mad when we gave Erie Insurance a break, but...
Well, look at the Erie Insurance is doing for that Lower East Side.
Yep, and you know, outfits like Smith Provision, there's another one. We gave them a loan, and we gave them some tax benefits to build their... you know, where they store their sausages and stuff, their hot dogs. But I'm not against it, but there's got to be, you know, a benefit. But, John, keep your ears open because, you know, if something opens up, I might put you on a committee.
Yeah.
What, you don't want to?
No, I said, yeah, no problem.
I like people like you that think like that. Look, you and I are going to disagree at times, and that's okay, but
You have to.
we have to watch. Look, the land bank is not perfect, but... You know, once we get in there, we're going to have to watch it, that's all.
Just like this new job that new outfit's going to come in and do the biodiesel again. Federal money, and where's all that biodiesel go? Goes over to Canada and you're out of the country.
I hope you'll like what Velocity Net's going to do down there on 10th Street.
Yeah.
You know, we went overboard a little with them, giving them some, you know, but I think it's going to help that area and that you know...
Well, I think that's a good thing.
Well, that's what we got to look for. You know, everybody's looking for the home run ball out of town.
So,
And sometimes you got to look, you know, wait, you know,
in the inner city first, the depleted area where the people want to do things.
well, I'm more concerned with keeping what we have here. Like, when I look at examples like Smith Provision or Erie Insurance, you know, they're here, you know, we got to take care of them. Too often in the past, remember those local companies we let slip?
Oh, yeah.
They're in Carolina now, and...
People really want to go through an experience. They should go down across this department store down there.
There's one we got to keep. Hey,
I agree.
You know what? You're right, John.
Go down there. I recall he turned down the city when they wanted to put sidewalks in and the fascia on his building and everything.
Wow.
He did it himself.
I marveled. He won't let me upstairs or anything. I would love to take a walk through the basement or the upstairs.
Go to the third floor.
Yeah, that must have been in its heyday, some kind of building.
The third floor is the one you want to go through.
Why, that was nice?
That's the one where all the old antiques are.
I bet you in its heyday that was nice, though.
Oh, it was fantastic. But he wouldn't let the city do the sidewalks and the fascia and all that because he had to hire a city contractor at the city's rate.
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
And the money was more than a normal contractor was doing.
Hey, John, do you remember when you were talking about another California?
Yeah, the fire?
Do you remember the old DACA building that Flippy bought?
Yep, right on
13th Street.
4th and, that one. No. I remember the old DACA building that used to be on 4th and French.
Yeah, I'm talking about the one over there by the post office.
Yeah.
It's the Metropolitan. The Metropolitan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that used to be another warehouse to the one on 4th and French.
You ought to see the plans he had for that building.
Oh, I imagine that would have been great.
But the trouble is he had to take the wooden beams out of there and put...
Yeah, the wooden beams and put in
He wanted to put like a rooftop bar and everything. And
the sprinkling system would kill them.
That place is beautiful in there.
See, that's when you get, he had plans like to develop the bar, the rooftop and...
Yeah.
I think if you go around a lot of these buildings that have sprinkling systems, you see they're not under code.
I'll tell you a trip into the past. The building on Parade Street where they have the antique store.
Cobb's.
It used to be the grocery store. Remember, John?
Yeah.
Families.
You go upstairs and there's all offices on the top floor.
12th and Parade.
Yeah, it's got offices on the top floor.
She got that place for a deal, too.
Yeah.
So, we'll get out the air.
Hey, how you feeling, buddy?
I'm doing great.
Good. That's good news.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm doing great. I'm getting ready to get cut loose again. I've been locked up since the 29th of September, so.
I just took my mother for her bacala.
Oh, boy.
Well, she can't get it from Natalie anymore, so.
Well, you can get nice bacala at Price Right.
There too, but I went to my favorite friend.
You went down to Auditory.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got it. But you want to get the nice thick one. You don't want to get the stalk.
No, my mother got the nice one. It's
Thick one.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You don't want the stalk. The stalk is real thin.
Hey, John, we get a...
What's a bacala?
The lad here's never had bacala.
Oh, bacala with black olives and sauce. Oh, boy.
It sounds good. What is it?
Just eat it and don't ask.
Yeah.
No.
It's dried codfish.
We'll talk to you later.
See you, John.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, you get codfish. It's hard as a board and salted, and you soak it.
It's like fish jerky. I can chew on that. Hey, I got something I want to bring up after this phone call.
Can you hold your thought?
I can hold my thought.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, guys. I got two things I want to tell you. First of all, it's the snow plowing so far. I live up off of 42nd and Wayne.
Right.
They are doing an excellent job. I'm really, really surprised how they're coming through after this. Well, it's only been a couple of days, but they're doing a real good job.
Well, I like their new. They've had a new guy for the last few years.
Yeah.
I like his style. He's. I even, I told him. I said I like the fact that you don't spend all day on 38th Street. You're starting to hit the neighborhoods a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay, the other thing I want to talk about, I caught a reruns a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
And I agree with that one guy that called in about that Semka guy.
Yeah.
So I've been watching the show off and on, but I'll tell you what, if he was on there with Jim Thompson would have him kicked off the first time he's on there. That guy he's not on any kind of official, he's not on any board, any authority, and he would just go on and on and on. Now, DJ's okay. He knows what he's talking about. But this Stemker guy, I'll tell you, he is. I'm glad he's not on here because you just keep him off. Your show increased 100% without him on there.
I kind of let him have a little too much latitude.
Now, if I could just come up with stuff to talk about, wow, we'd have a show.
Maybe I got to have you come on. Would you like to come on sometime?
Oh yeah, but listen, I'm saying this guy would say some stupid things,
Yeah.
and he had nothing to back it up with. You know, I know a couple of guys used to work with him at Zern's. I mean, he was a Looney Tune over there when he was working, you know?
It took me a whole year to get through to them about the billing. I said, you know,
Yeah.
you're going to pay the same, how do you, you know, you want it, I don't know, I just...
Yeah, let's not.
Okay, it's all around the tire, so...
Hey, I'll pass it on to the guys about the plowing. They like to hear that, so...
Yeah.
They're doing a real good job up there.
We've been
I'm
getting
real happy
a
with
couple
that.
years in a row. I mean, I recall people calling up and saying
Yeah.
good things about the plowing, so that's really good.
It's not an easy job.
No, it's not. It's not. It's insane. I mean, I can't even imagine driving.
It's fun
a
for
vehicle.
about an hour.
And then after that,
I
you're
remember
just
the
like,
first time I plowed snow for the parking ramps
yeah.
and lots. It was fun. Oh, man, feeling of power. Then after about an hour and a half or 2 hours, it got old quick.
Yeah, I hear ya.
I mean, you batter your head, you know.
Oh,
With those
yeah.
guys, you just keep, no, you get,
It's a lot of.
Well, it gets
forward
monotonous,
and back and tears the vehicles up. I know.
not only that, you got to keep if you're not in the game, you could wipe out, you know, cars, mailboxes.
Yeah.
You get,
Small
you know,
children. You know,
imagine
just gotta be
driving
careful.
all night just seeing the same thing, you know.
Yeah. Okay, here's my thing.
Go ahead.
We need more tourism stuff, right? If that's the way we seem to be going, if, you know.
Well, that's the way
industry-
they're gearing the economy.
Most industry is being shipped overseas, so we're not really going to get a lot of industry back, or it might not be easy. We could, but tourism stuff, touristy things. How about like a huge for the wintertime? Because you know how we got Presque Isle.
Right.
In the wintertime, it's just Presque Isle, though. It's not a beach. You can't really go there.
Mm-hmm.
What about like a light show? Some sort of drive-through light show. Like we could, you know, set it up in Presque Isle so people go and drive through. You charge people $10 a car, and then they go all the way through Presque Isle.
Where
And
did you
it's
see
just-
one? I saw one in Allentown.
I went to Oglebay, West Virginia. I used to go there every year, and they have a huge
You drive
light
through with your
display.
car, right?
You go with the car. You pay $10.
I've
for
seen one
a full car.
Well, I've seen two things. One in Allentown where
Yeah,
you go through a city park.
yeah,
It would have been like Frontier Park, except in Frontier Park you don't have any
yeah.
roads.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
And then I seen outside of Allentown, this farmer had a huge light show.
Yeah,
Cars were backed up for
I'm telling you,
3.5 miles for
it's
about an hour and a half.
It's a cash cow. Why,
Yes, it
why
is.
can't we set something up? I mean, I know it's a state park, but maybe there's something we
Well,
can work
I
out
think-
or get another location.
I think there's your problem. Number one,
Yeah.
the state.
Okay, then
They
forget it.
no, don't forget it. I just don't think they'd
No,
be.
then we get another location.
I
What
think
about-
you'd have to work with them about, you know.
It could be worked out. It could be worked out. We start small. We
See,
try
the
it.
zoo used to be something like that for walking.
Yeah,
When they had Zubu and they had.
Oh, I know. I used to the Christmas lights. And
What we got to find is what we need, and I don't know if there is one in Erie. This is the bad part. If we had a place where we could drive through, you know, and you're probably talking like a golf course.
what's the
well,
Hammer Mill property look like?
No roads in there, I don't think. But you kind of got to find a spot where if you want to, you either got to decide whether you want a walking tour. There's no problem.
Yeah, yeah.
You could do Frontier Park like that.
Right.
You know, you could. Traffic's a little problem parking there, but you could work around that with our ride. You know, what do you call it? Our
Yeah, park and ride.
park and rides.
Oh,
and
yeah. These are things I'd like to see. I mean, and
And
you know,
if there was an industrial park like that, you know, but there's nothing this one park that was in Allentown was a city park,
yeah,
and as you drove through it, of course, there was vegetation,
yeah,
and that made it nice because, you know, you could put static displays here, but you could light up the trees.
right.
I'm trying to think real hard, maybe somebody out there knows a spot that would lend itself to a ride-through like that.
We have nothing but abandoned properties and abandoned buildings and locations and properties. There's got to be some place that we could
The
set
thing
up.
is finding a big plot that's got a road
Yeah.
that
yeah.
and it's got vegetation. See, that's the other thing. If we had a park that had, you know,
I say Presque Isle is perfect, man. If
we got a lot
work
of
out-
parks, but most of them are what they call walking parks.
Oh, I hear you.
Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I think I just was calling to find out when you're actually on the air.
We are on the air right now.
Right now.
I've been trying to call this number for a few days, and all I keep getting is the busy signal.
Yeah, we only have this number on at 2 o'clock on Mondays.
Keep an eye on the bottom of the screen. It'll have the date. If it has today's date on it, we're live.
Oh, okay. Do you still have broadcasts at other times of the day, or is it only on one day a week now?
It's on 3 times a day. It should be still.
Oh, okay. And
I
so
don't
you'll
know
be
the
on again at 11 o'clock tonight?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
you can't call
11.
though. That's the trouble though.
Yeah, you can't call.
Yeah,
but if
this
you
is
look at the date on the bottom of the screen, and if it's not the date you're looking at it, then we're not live.
Oh, I see.
You got
Right
a
now you
question,
are.
ma'am?
Yeah. What do you got?
Oh, well, I just called for my sister, but we're in the process of leaving for an appointment. So when can I call back, or when can she call back?
Well, she can call the show at any Monday at 2 o'clock.
Monday
live.
at 2 o'clock.
But if she wants to talk to me off the air, she's welcome to call me on my city phone.
Oh, okay. And what is that number?
That's 434
434.
3127.
Okay.
Or you can contact the city council chambers, and they'll pass it along to me.
27. Okay. Is that a cell phone number for
Yes.
you, or?
Yes, it is.
Okay, 434-3127.
Right. If not, you're free to always call council chambers, and the secretaries there will take it down pass it on to us.
Okay. All right. Thanks very much.
Okay.
Sure.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yep, and that goes for anybody else who's watching this. If that says December the 12th and you're watching it next Monday, then it's a repeat. So you can't call.
It says repeat. It doesn't say repeat.
It doesn't say repeat, but at least it's got the date on
We're
it.
gonna have to get Mike to put a little. You
Yeah.
got to go high tech.
High tech. We are high tech. This is high tech. We have a calendar. We can even look stuff up. Right there, the 19th. If you're watching this on the 19th, but it says the 12th, it's a repeat.
Kids, they go, "What is this?" It's a paper calendar.
People don't know what old phones are.
It's a paper calendar.
Kids are like, "What is this thing?" It's an old phone, man. Crazy kids.
When you watch the old movies, I always look for see if they kept it.
Yeah, I love those. I love the old.
I always look for those. What do you call it? Especially in war movies, I always look for.
Oh, the brick phones, the big old.
You see a
dial.
guy firing a weapon, and you go, "He didn't take the safety off. He didn't lock and load it." You look at,
Yeah.
or he always these little glitches.
Yeah. Oh, anyway, Christmas lights. Let's do it. If we could work out a deal with Presque Isle, I'm sure we could get sponsors.
Well, I think we've had people like, I always admired the zoo when they did it.
Yeah.
And you got the Niagara is doing, they light up the ship. Mm-hmm. So it's not like we're not doing it, but most of the things we do are what do you call walking tours.
Well, we could do a walk right on the bayfront and tie it in with the Niagara and the
What'll
Dobbins
probably be
Landing.
nice someday is when we get the GF property done.
Yeah.
When it becomes a little village like.
Is that going to be a little village? Is that what?
That's what their plans are. But hey, a lot of it depends on.
Yeah.
We can sit here and plan,
Yeah.
but it takes somebody with money to make it happen.
No.
Money. When you look at Nick Scott, what he wants to do on the other side.
Yeah.
That's dependent upon what he can make money at. Okay.
We could get people like Nick Scott to sponsor it.
I mean, I can. People always talk about people with vision.
Yeah.
I got a vision too. I see a 40-story office tower. Guess what? Not going to happen.
Not with our. I heard that we have bad soil or something.
That has nothing to do with that.
We have sandy. We can't.
That has nothing to do with that.
Why? I thought we couldn't have high rises because we had sand for.
We work around it.
Yeah, it's true.
The sand goes. I remember when they did the parking ramps, the sand went pretty far south.
Yeah.
But all they do is just dig deeper.
Oh, deeper.
Do you know what's holding up the road on I-79, the bridge over Geneva?
I know exactly.
What?
Magic.
Huh?
Magic.
It is.
What is it? Is that floating bridge? Yeah, that's the only one of its kind.
An engineer tried to explain. When he said pontoon, I'm thinking like when the military builds a pontoon bridge.
Yeah.
They put like boats across and
Right.
or inflatable things, and then you bridge it, right?
Okay.
engineer tried to explain to me, you're talking to someone who, okay, that's not my,
Not your
my,
forte.
yeah, not my, what do you call it?
Forte.
Yeah, knowing that, not my pay grade.
Oh, that, yeah.
So, when they were building this, things were sinking, right? So they tried to explain that there's muck underneath there.
Muck.
So that the weight of the road pushes down into the muck,
Yeah.
and the muck pushes back. So you got friction, which holds.
I hate it when muck
and
pushes
then going,
back.
So, let me get this right.
Okay.
Wet mud, or, muck.
Yeah, the muck.
Okay, you put a brick in there, and you think about it.
Yeah.
The brick probably will, right?
Right, yeah.
It's a theory about.
So that's their explanation. Hi.
It's like, how do you put an iron boat in the water? Think about it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right?
it's...
If you put a piece of iron in the water, what happens?
Well, if it's not shaped right, it sinks.
There you go, right?
You need the shape. You need, because that's it. The water pushes back. It's something called surface tension.
See, and I think that, but, when you look at all these, it would be nice if we could find a place. I thought about this, because a lot of town, not everybody has it, but
Yeah.
if there's a place, like even in New York, you can't drive through Central Park, but you can take like
Yeah.
what do you call it, the horses and stuff.
Yeah.
But if we don't have a place I can think of that's got road network through it.
Then we make a road network. Darn it.
No, it's a nice. I mean, if you can find one, it's a nice idea. Other than that, then you're gonna be. I'm not saying it's a bad idea.
It's not, why is it so
It's-
hard in this town to get people to just take a chance and do a thing?
I'd rather see them develop Frontier Park, so they get some money for
Sure.
development there. That would be a nice idea. Walk through there, or Zuck Park, or something like that.
Well, maybe we could start with
It's like the
that.
zoo. How'd they raise money?
Yeah.
You walk through the zoo, right?
I love that. Do they not do any of that
It's a
anymore?
lot of work for them, though.
They don't do the Christmas lights anymore, right?
It's a lot of work for them.
I used to pay just to go to that.
I think it was a lot of work
Years
for them, and over the years.
Well, I would think they would make money. I pay.
Maybe
Pay
they'd
$10.
make as much as they wanted to, but no, it's a nice idea, and I love what they do at the Niagara, lighten it up like the Ghost Ship and everything. Those are thinking outside the box things.
I want to
But
be outside the box.
As far as you're driving through a park, I honestly, unless somebody comes up with a site somewhere in Erie County,
Well, then why don't we start small? We do a walking tour, and we do it in Frontier Park, or I think the Bayfront would be awesome. And you're right, when that becomes a village, but maybe we could do it first, and then when the little village is there, then
someday
they
you
can-
might be able to do it up in McClellan Park. They're putting walking trails in there.
I just actually videotaped.
You ever been to McClellan?
Yeah, I just videotaped a new trail dedication. They just dedicated
Did you go to
tons
the
of trails.
Go to the foundation of the widow's house?
I did not.
I have to take you
I walked part way in, but it's beautiful. You can go get lost for like 45 minutes and then come back out the other
There's
side.
an idea, Roma Park, behind Tops on the east side.
Okay, yeah.
There's a
yeah.
teacher who wants to get involved there, and
Yeah, I think we talked about it. You
yeah,
said
there's
they
a
found
lot of people that want to do the work,
I know.
but
Why can't we get these people together and just make stuff happen? I mean, I'm not trying to be like a hippie or something, but I don't mind donating
Probably
time.
the best place to do a riding tour
Yeah.
would be through a cemetery, and that creates its own problems. So
Yeah, you could get some people that wouldn't want that.
that's what I mean. But there's an example of a piece of property
Yeah.
that is geared up perfect because
This is true.
you got the road network, you got trees and vegetation,
I'm going to have to look into this.
So,
I
I
mean, I
mean,
say that a lot, but these are things I want to see.
I thought about it coming back from Allentown saying, is there any place that matches this? And
We could be the next Ogilvy.
go ahead, caller.
Hey, Kaz, I know you guys are almost done, but just get your opinion on this. During the election, I mean, a lot of these, especially the Rust Belt people, voted for Trump because they thought, well, we lost our jobs, we lost our good-paying jobs. Now, think back 20 years, who put them in this situation? It was the Republicans who were the union busters in the right-to-work states. So why would these people go ahead and vote for a Republican? I just don't get it.
Yeah, you said right to work state, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, there's your answer. Jobs will come back, and you can see what you can see what these companies are, like GE, are negotiating. Basically, they're saying, yeah, we'll come back, but we come back under our terms. And that means right to work usually.
Yeah.
And their wages.
Yeah, I mean, well, look what they told the workers at GE. Basically, if you get laid off, you can come back maybe, but you're not coming back at your old wage. You're coming back at the new wage.
Unbelievable, Kaz.
Yeah, well,
Unbelievable.
my brother-in-law was in a right-to-work state. If you can get him in a good mood off the air, he'll tell you a few things about how nice it wasn't.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what just really irks me about it. I mean, just not even the Rust Belt states. I mean, just anywhere across the country where the unions are down to what? I see that there's percentage of unions that are left. I think it's down to like 12%.
Yeah, people want these jobs. They keep talking about, and they're gonna. If they get them, it's not going to be like the old days, where, you had guys that could actually afford to go out and do things with their families,
Yeah, that's what I just can't understand about that. Who would vote for that guy? And the policy is going to put on. I see the labor secretary is against raising the minimum wage that he wants to put in there. I mean, come on, he wants the minimum wage stuck at $7.25? Are you kidding me?
The next couple of years is going to be a mess. That's all I can say, because I don't like to talk politics, but
it's one thing to talk about
it's broken.
Kids in high school making a minimum wage,
Yeah.
but it's a whole different issue when you're talking about people that are laid off from the GE. They got no choice now but to work at Home Depot or someplace.
I was talking to my friend who works at McDonald's, and she's worked there for 7 years, and she's still only making $8.35.
And she probably had a nice job before that, right?
I am not really sure, but the one she has now is not nice, so I feel bad.
Yeah, in high school, I didn't think I was going to work at McDonald's forever.
Yeah.
Sad. Yeah, that's. I mean, even Trump said he wanted $10, and then he brings in this guy, the labor secretary. I guess he ran the Hardee's and the Carl's Jr. chain or something.
Yeah, no. I wonder why he wants to keep it low.
Yeah, I wonder why he wants to keep it low. That's exactly what I was going to say.
His whole cabinet is a hot mess, and I'm just going to leave it with that.
That's unlivable. You can't. I mean, you got to have like 3, 4, or 5 people living in one apartment.
Well, my sister one time, she worked till she got a nice job after many years. She worked like 4 jobs because none of them would hire her full time. They didn't want to. And they were, food chains and retail outlets and.
Yeah.
You know what here's a little story, guys. You know what they do in California to survive because the apartments are so expensive.
Right.
They sleep 8-hour shifts in an apartment.
Try Orlando, Florida, when they say people who work for Disney.
6, 7 people to an apartment. You get 8 hours, maybe 8.5 hours in that apartment. You sleep, you shower, you go. It's called hot bedding.
Wow. That's what they called in the Navy on Navy ships, wasn't it?
The other shift comes in.
Yeah.
And then they sleep and shower.
Wow.
And then the other people come in. So you got the people living in one apartment because that's the only way to do it. Because they're making crap wages and limited hours. I mean, even California, well, they might be making $10 an hour, but they're getting 22 hours a week. How do you survive on that?
Can't.
You can't. It's just unbelievable. And it's the damn Republicans who put us in this situation. And we voted for them. We voted for them. It's just unbelievable. It boggles my mind. It's like some kind of nightmare. It's just some kind of nightmare. Yeah, I'll let you guys go.
Okay, have a good day and have a good Christmas.
Try to have a good one.
Oh, welcome back. Yeah, I did get the sound back for you.
Pardon? Oop.
There you go. And with that, we got to go.
Yes, we have business.
We have business.
And Mike
Mike wants to shut us off. He always wants.
Well, he's ran out of tape now, so
we're out of tape. We're done.
See you next week.
Yeah, I got the wrong.
I'll take him out business.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the Taxpayers Hotline Show. on Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9.